Okay, we are back. It is Legally Speaking with Charlie Bachtell. Charlie, welcome back.
Good morning, Seth. Thanks for having me.
So, yeah, podcast land knows no time. It is morning. That's wonderful. It's snowing there. It's not snowing here, and that's okay. You guys know how to deal with snow in Chicago, right?
Unfortunately, yes.
Yeah, exactly. We are here to speak specifically about social justice. You and I don't even remember if it was recording at the time that we had the conversation, but you really unpacked the way that you look at this very coherently. And you said, if we're going to change medical laws, right, medical cannabis, that's the conversation is around cannabis as medicine. If we're going to change make cannabis legal and talk about legal cannabis, we have to talk about illegal cannabis. And that mostly, unfortunately, is a social justice conversation. Now, that's me paraphrasing you. How close did I get?
I think you're right on. And I think even since we had that conversation, I've had more instances to sort of bat this around and discuss, is this a how, is this a why laws get passed going forward, or is it a how laws get passed going forward? And so since we first discussed it, there's definitely been a lot more discussion on the topic, and it is the case with all things. It goes from being theoretical to being actual, and so you start to see sort of the things that are great, the things that are going to work, and the things that maybe need to be looked at again.
Okay, so let's talk about the how and why. How do you see each of those?
Yeah, so it's funny. I teach a course. I don't know if you know this or not, but I teach a course at Northwestern Law School on the legal and regulatory issues in emerging industries, cannabis. And I just taught this semester over the last week, and this actually came up, and I had a esteemed guest colleague come and join me, Eric Berlin, who's a partner at Denton's, heads up their global, national and global cannabis practice. And he took an informal poll of the room, and because we were talking a lot about social justice and social equity being a part of the future of cannabis, and he said, for those in the room, why do you want to see cannabis legalized? And there were, of the 20 answers, it was more focused on, I guess, general civil liberties than it was on, we have to right the wrongs for specific groups that have been harmed by the war on drugs. They didn't get that specific. So then he said, that's very interesting that nobody in the room said this is why we need to legalize cannabis for adult use, but everybody is focused on it right now. So are we maybe too hypersensitive or too hyper-focused on social equity as being a part of it? And I said, well, I think there's a big distinction. There's a rationale for why you legalize something, and then there's another discussion of how you legalize it. So while it might not be the sort of lead on why it needs to be legalized, because then you get into all kinds of public health and public safety issues, but the how, without a doubt, and that was confirmed in an informal poll in the room, how it gets legalized absolutely has to have a social equity, social justice component to it.
Okay, fine. What I'm hearing is you and I might be in the why bucket. Wonderful. Yep. Kudos to us. Pat on the back. Doesn't matter. It's not the why that matters, because we will take anybody onto our team of why, right? It is how, though. Social justice turns into a how conversation. So you guys obviously have a great example in Illinois of how to do the how. You say a lot has come up in this area. I know that you've been pretty active in this area. Tell us more about the how.
Yeah, so for us, we and good timing on the podcast, because again, a lot of the activations are materializing now. But like I said, last time we talked, it was more theoretical, and it was planning, and now we've seen activation. So Illinois got around to issuing the applications with further clarity on how they're going to look at the social equity component and what role that's going to play in the application process. And so then it helped us really finalize the structuring of, one of the initiatives that we have in our seed program is the incubation of potential applicants for these next licenses. And so we're now again at the activation stage where we have the groups, right? We have groups that are part of it. It's formalized. They're in the incubator. We're having our meetings. We're having our sort of clinics where we're going through and we're working on the stages to prepare them for the application process. And I can tell you, I think as you would expect, it's such a rewarding, refreshing part of this industry that can sometimes get lost in the shuffle when you're trying to expand and when you're trying to hit certain yields and when you're truly operating an organization. But it's been a great sort of reminder of why cannabis is unique, and it's such an interesting and unique opportunity we have with this industry to take something that has been around for thousands of years, yet it's a new and emerging industry today.
Right.
It's unique because it's socially acceptable in most circles, yet it's been illegal for generations, right? And it's also it's interesting and it's unique because it's been part of for years now. It's been part of millions of people's health, wellness, and balanced lifestyle regimen. Yet, on the other hand, it's also been, the cause of mass incarcerations, families being split up and strife in certain communities more so than others. So there's just these unique components to the cannabis space where now we're able to sort of incorporate that into how this develops. And now it has this, again, very unique opportunity to go from being one of the fundamental components of the negativity of that community strife and blight, and now it can actually be part of a solution, of an incredible opportunity for some rebirth. There aren't many things that have that capability. So we're again just reminded, especially now that the rubber's hitting the road and the classes are happening, and we have 35 groups that are part of our incubator program. It's 130 people.
Yeah.
So 130 people involved in 35 different groups that we're helping to prepare for the application process here. And not only to help them prepare for the application process, but most importantly, help them prepare to run businesses post-licensure. Make sure that this program then gets stood up with operators that are ready to operate. That's it's sort of the afterthought.
Yeah.
The initial thought is let's make sure that we have a nice balance, inclusive and diverse licensee base. A lot of people forget that then everybody has to run a viable business. So we want to make sure that they're ready for that.
Yeah, and you looped back around there because you made some big societal points, obviously, and you loop back around to the end on how this is business. Essentially, what Illinois did with its sensible regulations around social justice is really uncover how this industry can be a different industry and a better industry. Because you spoke in the middle there, you said, every day I got to basically make sure that I'm running a profitable business. And what has been nice, and you almost talked about it as a different thing, is to see these folks and to work with these folks and then get them, set to run successful businesses. So all of it is capitalism, but it is not necessarily, just bottom line. In discovering the bottom line, we can kind of, consider additional components to what we are doing than just the numbers at hand. Am I putting that right? How would you put that as a CEO?
100%. I don't think that you can only, it'll be incomplete if anybody is thinking about this as only one thing or the other, of that it's this great social equity initiative. If you're only thinking about that, you're forgetting about the fact that, what happened if you issue those licenses and all 75 new applicants fail? That's a disaster, right? I mean, that's not great. That's just an example of a failed, incomplete software. And likewise, if you issued more licenses here and you didn't incorporate the responsibility, the social responsibility component on the front end, that also would be a disaster. That'd be a failure of the opportunity. So again, I just go back to sort of the who was it? Was it the what organization was it? Was it the Roundtable, National Roundtable organization that earlier this year really put out that statement that that corporations, the role of a corporation or the focus of the corporation is not solely to increase shareholder value. There's responsibilities that go along with it. Again, one of the things that Cresco in particular, and I know I'm not speaking only for myself, I wouldn't speak on behalf of anybody, but I'm fairly certain I'm not only speaking for myself. What we've realized in this industry is that if you focus on the bigger picture, it actually has an ROI. And I think we might have talked about that in the last podcast. Yeah. I can connect those dots. I can show you how, an organization that has always fundamentally been a community project-based organization who invested the time, effort, and money into awareness and education, and really building a healthy, respectable, and impactful industry in which to operate in, also then has the largest market share in Illinois and the largest market share in Pennsylvania. And so there's an ROI in actually thinking about this industry the right way and making sure, again, that the focus is creating a healthy, respectable, and impactful program. You also have a very viable marketplace in which to have fun competing. And so those two kind of concepts, fundamentals, should be thought of intrinsically. They should be connected. They're not independent of each other. They absolutely impact each other.
Amazing. All right. Fantastic. This is always enlightening, Charlie, so I appreciate that. Great points here. Can't wait to talk to you actually very soon with these other issues that might be impacting the industry. We'll see, right? Thanks so much for your time. Can't wait to talk to you again.
Thank you very much.